Brian Branch, Frank Ragnow?
Yeah, they were both out there practicing today. So as of right now, they look good.
How about that? Dan Campbell, after a bye week Monday, talking about a couple of the injuries. Brian Branch, most notably, and Alex Anzalone's out there. These guys are out there practicing. Braylon Edwards, Frank Ragnow. It was weird to have a bye week this early in the season. I didn't particularly like it, but maybe because of these guys like Ragnow and Branch and Anzalone even, to get these guys healthy felt like a pretty good use of the bye week.
Yeah, 100%, man. These are three vital pieces of the Detroit Lions in terms of what they add to the team. Also, too, you shout out to the Detroit Lions, though, because they've done this over the last couple of years, getting guys back, getting guys ready. Remember when they set Frank and Ragnow out last year, they said, okay, cool, we'll sit him out this game, but we know we need to have him by this game. They did the same with Amon-Ra St. Brown early on in that year. So they do a really good job of understanding what games to take off, really to ask their players and get them back. These guys are playing this week. This is one for them. This is going to be one of those games. This is a payback game. Everybody understands what happened to this particular Detroit Lions team. Not even the fan base who can go all the way back to the 90s. This is just this team and what happened down there in the Dirty D. Everyone told them about kind of what it was like playing down there, and then they had another situation. So it's a get-back game for those guys. Frank Ragnow is a warrior. There's no way Dan Campbell can keep him off this field with that partially torn pec. So look for all those guys to be back, man. Look for them to be rocking and rolling.
I know Dan Skipper's looking forward to this one. If you remember last year against Dallas, you know what happened. The old reporting, the whole 9 yards.
That's what I was talking about, yeah.
They cannot wait to play this Dallas Cowboy team. Cowboys played till almost 1 in the morning last night. They come in off a short week. Lions have a nice couple of 10 days off or so. They're going to be ready to play this game. I'm really looking forward to seeing what they're going to do against the Cowboys. You got to punch the Cowboys, keep them down, man. They really are beat up bad to begin with. The Lions are better than them to begin with, and they are beat up on top of it all. They should roll the Cowboys. Yeah. And probably will be close, but they got to get the win.
I don't want to dive into that game because I figure we got a whole week to get into that actual game, Maz. But what I saw last night of that Cowboys team, look, that's not a good Pittsburgh Steelers team, at least on offense. We know that to be true. But you got to give that credit some credit. You got to give them some credit for how they won that game in Pittsburgh against that good defense. I did not like seeing that as a Lions fan.
Really?
Keep in mind, now they've been rocking and rolling. Now they got the Lions coming this week. Now they're getting into some type of rhythm, if you will, and that defense even looked a little bit better. I'm just saying, they looked like they were dead in the water, and now you get a win on the road against the Steelers. You can say what you want to about that offense, but that's a good defense that they were able to do that 15-play drive at the end of the game to win it, and they fumbled the snap.
Yeah.
I got to tip my hat and just say that was a good game. I wish we would have played them before, but it doesn't matter.
I'd rather see them come in off a win than a loss. I want to play a team that just won than a team that lost, because when you lose, obviously, you don't want to lose and make it 2 or 3 in a row. So I think it's going to work to the Lions' advantage that they won that game last night.
They still can't run the ball, so it doesn't matter.
I don't even care about Dallas at this point. Watching NFL yesterday, just from a bird's eye view, flipping around at these games, I am more convinced than ever that the Detroit Lions are the best team in the NFL, and certainly the best team in the NFC. What happened to San Francisco yesterday, up 10 points at home against Arizona. The San Francisco 49ers are 2-3 on the year. The Green Bay Packers went to Los Angeles yesterday. Los Angeles, a Rams team that was half their team was on the injured list and banged 75%. Up and barely escaped a win out of there. And Jordan Love did not look all that great. Throwing a pick six, terrible decision down there deep in his own zone. So you look at Green Bay, you look at San Francisco. Philadelphia is a complete afterthought to me right now. There isn't a team in the NFC that can compete for with the Detroit Lions other than the Detroit Lions. This is their NFC to win. And you look at Seattle. You think Seattle got beat twice? Oh, my goodness. The New York Giants beat them, biggest favorite on the board.
Daniel Jones had a game, and he got benched before the game.
Tampa Bay, Tampa Bay's no good.
They gave one up to the Falcons.
It's just like every team that plays the Detroit Lions loses the following week.
I'm glad we're not playing Washington, though. I really am. I'm glad we're not playing Washington. Because like I said last week, you said, who are the good teams? Who's the team that surprised you? They're not surprising me anymore. And Cleveland, it's wow. I'm glad I'm not a Browns fan because Kevin Stefanski comes out and doubles down and says, I'm not changing quarterbacks.
That's not him.
Did you watch Deshaun Watson?
That's not his choice.
Did you see Deshaun Watson? Kevin Stefanski won Coach of the Year last year. 5 Browns won postseason awards. Where's Myles Garrett? Where is this team? What happened to Cleveland? It's one guy. One guy. Joe Flacco is almost leading in every statistical category for quarterbacks. He's in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
I just, Chicago, I think, was a game yesterday. They looked really good. I don't know how much of that was, the fact that they were playing Carolina. But the NFC North now.
All 3 teams won.
Yes. You start to see a little bit. Minnesota 5-0. The NFC North is very formidable. And the NFC West looks very weak. It really just does. Just being honest with you. Don't let the name on the front of the jersey fool you. Or the helmets fool you. That is a very weak division. Here's Dan Campbell earlier today talking about the NFC North division.
I'm not surprised. I mean, I expected this. I expect us sitting here in another month, and it's going to look very similar. We're all in there together. I think it's going to be one of the toughest divisions. I felt that way going in this year, and so I'm not shocked one bit. We knew it was going to be a competitive division, and but it's like, man, you don't want it any other way, really. I think that's awesome. I think it's a good thing, and you get to duke it out with some teams that are playing really good football. Man, they got players over there too, and they're getting coached well, and so it's kind of exciting, honestly.
It is exciting to be in a little bit of a pennant chase, right? I mean, to use a different sport. But look, Minnesota didn't look great yesterday. I mean, they're 5-0 clearly. That is why the Lions win against Seattle was so big. I mean, Seattle wouldn't go away when they played the Lions. The Lions ultimately finished them off and won that game. But Braylon, Minnesota keeps stacking up wins. You cannot get too much further behind Minnesota. I know you play them twice, but they're stacking some wins together.
Yeah, they're definitely stacking some wins together. Defense, offense coming together a little bit. Look, they played in London, and look, I never count London games in terms of the totality of it all. Look, different time zones.
They own London, Minnesota.
100%, but just different time zones, getting used to it, practicing, playing on a different field. So I don't necessarily make anything about the game. They didn't look that good, but hey, like you said, they're 5-0, man, and they've been balling. But the Lions, they've been doing it differently. And I think these are the 2 catalysts in the league right now in terms of the Lions and Vikings that playing the best football. The Vikings do a little bit more on both sides of the ball, a little bit more evenly. But the Lions, like you said, they don't lose too many because you don't want to go on the road in the playoffs. And I think that's the meat and potatoes of it. You don't want to go on the road. Minnesota Stadium is a very nice stadium. It's very loud. You don't want to have to go on the road if you don't. One of the reasons why we had so much playoff success, it was the atmosphere that we created. We created something here at Ford Field as fans. I think that other teams have to come to, and it's an advantage. It's an advantage. So you want to make sure you keep that advantage. That's the main thing with that.
Water finds its level. Minnesota's a good team. Never put anyone by them. We thought they'd be last place. They still might wind up in last place in the NFC North, which still – all 4 teams might make the playoffs.
Washington might have, I say at least 3, but Washington might have a say in this now with that 3rd playoff spot.
Not to cut you off,
they might win the division.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, good call.
I think they might.
Yeah.
I think they win. I think they will at this point. But the Vikings.
Good call.
I did watch a little bit of that game. 9 a.m. I woke up, had to throw on my Jets T-shirt, rock the Jets, see what they were going to do. I was watching Sam Darnold. When Aaron Jones got hurt and everything wasn't so easy and things weren't very comfortable, almost very golf-like in a sense. Now, I'm not comparing to golf, so please don't go crazy.
But he's that type of quarterback.
But when things started to look awry and he had to make a play, he looked like the guy that I saw play against the Patriots with the Jets when he had 7 sacks. And he said it looked like I was seeing ghosts. He didn't look like it made sense that he was bouncing around from team to team to team to team. If you can get this guy uncomfortable, he's just a regular quarterback. He's just a regular player, and they got them off his square, as they say. He was looking very basic and very average after that first quarter and a half mark of the game.
T.J. Hawkinson's expected to come back any week now. That's going to help them. They got a great receiving core. They really do.
They got a great offensive scheme,
They
period.
do. Kevin O'Connell knows how to call a game. And he's got this guy playing at his peak. Yeah. Sam Darnold right now is playing at his peak. Now, that Jet defense is nothing to laugh at. That's a good defense. And they almost won the damn game for their team because the offense for the Jets right now is absolutely they stink. Aaron Rodgers.
Can I say?
Please, go ahead.
He's done.
It was. I'm so happy when these moments happen where you can see that we give credit sometimes to the wrong person. They've been calling this guy Nathaniel Hackett. They've been calling him an offensive genius now since he was in Green Bay. And then they hire him for the Denver Broncos. We get Nathaniel, then we maybe get Aaron Rodgers. The Jets bring him thinking the same thing, and it did happen for him. But what's the problem? They got Mike Williams, they have Garrett Wilson, they got Braylon Allen, they got Breece Hall, they got offensive linemen, they got Conklin, they got tight ends. The problem is the offensive coordinator never was the guy. It was always Matthew LaFleur's. That is the biggest thing when you watch them. They have no cohesion on the offense. It's no way, Ryan, that you can tell me that this is a vetted professional OC that can do these major things, and he's a genius level. And it looks like this, not game 1, not game 2, not game 3, but not game. Every game this year, they've looked like a average and even under average. That means that he was only offensive coordinator in Green Bay by name and title only. Matthew LaFleur is the one calling the truth because he looks lost, and Aaron looks over it. I feel bad for him.
Yeah, I was about to say, you don't put any of this on Aaron Rodgers, though? I mean, he has not looked good, really, since his last year in Green Bay.
I got something on that.
Look good with this offense. He has all the weapons in the world, like you said.
Not really.
His only good game was that Patriots game.
Not really. He don't have a lot of weapons. Not
he
really.
don't have a lot of weapons.
We overrated it. It's overrated.
When you got one guy that wants to come, and I'm not making excuses for Aaron Rodgers. When you got Mike Williams want to come in the game and don't know how to run a back shoulder fade, Aaron throws a perfect fade, and he keeps running straight.
Yeah, he kept
when
running.
you get Garrett Wilson, who I believe is one of the best wide receivers in the league,
absolutely,
like doing his own thing, dropping 3 passes, and also running his own routes. When you're hitting guy, Alan Lazard, we know he caught touchdown. He had 3 drops.
He's clueless.
So when you don't get that many opportunities with Aaron Rodgers now. Like Aaron Rodgers could make up for that back in the day. Now when you don't make those catches, make those plays don't come back. He's out there getting hammered.
He's banged up too.
Well, that's part of what I was going to say, Bray, exactly what you just stated. I thought Kurt Warner, and I'm not a big Rich Eisen guy, don't mind it.
They called a decent game.
Kurt Warner called a really good game, and the way Kurt Warner was explaining some of these route trees that these wide receivers are just not on the same page as Aaron Rodgers.
Routes.
Like Aaron Rodgers, it's almost like not the play caller. It's like the quarterback. It was highlighted to me anyway as just a guy that watches football but not really sees it the way you guys see it. We see the completions, we see the incompletions, we see the interceptions. We think it's on this guy, that guy, this guy. The way Kurt Warner was explaining back shoulder throws, and you've got to come back to the ball. You've got to keep going. You've got to cut that in, and just the flat out miscommunication between quarterback and wide receiver. Now, I don't know how that gets fixed. You would be able to tell me if that is even fixable, Braylon Edwards, in such during the season. Is that something you can fix, or is that something that just, man, you're going to have that all year long?
It's something that can be fixed, Ryan, if you want to fix it. And I don't know the guy from Adam, so I'm not putting words in his mouth, or I'm not saying this is what he is. Mike Williams just doesn't look like he cares.
That's a lot of it too.
Like Mike Williams,
lackadaisical on that last play.
Whenever they put him in, and I'm a Jet.
Yes.
So like, this isn't just a fan.
He didn't know what he was doing.
So what the hell are you doing?
Right. Yeah.
What the hell are you doing?
He's just running. He didn't even know the ball was thrown.
So when you don't care, you can't fix that. But somebody like Garrett Wilson is passionate. He comes from a place that wins. I think Aaron and he can get on the same page, but I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's behind closed doors. It just seems like Aaron and Garrett have conversations every game, and then you go through a week of practice and you just assume, okay, they got to figure it out. And here comes the game again where you see Garrett and Aaron on the sideline just going through the mode. I don't know what's going on in Florham Park during the week, but it doesn't seem like they're fixing things throughout the week, to your point, Ryan.
I don't think it can be fixed. And once again, I hate to go back to Aaron Rodgers, but this seems like an off-season thing. Instead of ayahuasca trips, why weren't you working out with your receivers? When you were injured last year, why didn't you spend more time around the team? You can't just show up because you Aaron Rodgers and think, oh, this is going to work. Like, you are 40 now, and you don't sell your body to the game like a Tom Brady, like, other quarterbacks have that push that age. And it's just, I don't know, man. But if it's a chemistry and a timing issue, that just seems like something that should have been worked out in the offseason.
And I think that's where you see Garrett Wilson and some of the players on the team get a little upset.
Yeah.
They get a little testy, and they have those back and forth because those guys were there in the offseason.
Exactly.
Those guys were ready for the season. They heard that they were going to be this great team with Aaron Rodgers, and since he's been there, it just hasn't
good.
happened.
They lost a year with him. I mean, when he came out last year on 9/11 with the flag,
that was it.
I really believed that they were going to really hit the ground running. He goes down 3 plays. He's not the same guy. Does he have the best arm strength, the best arm talent in the NFL?
Mass, he won't.
He probably still does. But he don't have the guys. They're not cohesive. And it comes with Robert Saleh. I'm sorry. I just don't think he's the guy. Now, Jeff Ulbrich is the defensive coordinator. He should be the head coach of this team. And then what you do with Hackett, I guess, I don't know. You talk to Aaron and see what the hell he wants. I guess because this is obviously you built the whole team around him. They have no backup. It's him or nothing. When he leaves and they don't have a number 1 draft pick quarterback behind him, I don't know what the hell they're going to do going forward because he's not going to last a year. He's already taken plenty of shots. He's limping. I read today he's going to be okay. But what does that mean? He's 40-plus years old. They don't have it, man. They do not have it. He says, look, we're going to go on a run. I know it. We're going to go on a run. He still says that. I don't know if it's tomorrow. I don't know if it's midseason. I don't know if it's the end of the season. We're going to go on a run, and we're going to make this work. I really don't know if it will ever work, to be honest.
And I'm not trying to diss Aaron. My bad.
No, please.
I'm sorry, Ryan. I feel like I keep cutting you off.
No, I did. I am more curious as to what you have to say about this than anybody in this room because I mean, it's your former team and it's your position group really that's seeming to be having all the struggles.
One thing when you watch too, Maz, you can tell the difference in age, and this is where I noticed it most. Watch Aaron and watch Kirk Cousins. Mm-hmm. Both Achilles.
Yeah.
Literally around
That's a good point.
about a month apart from each other. Kirk Cousins 34, Aaron Rodgers 41.
Big difference.
Kirk Cousins goes he goes the regular route that you're supposed to go with rehab and treatment and therapy. Aaron tries some other stuff, some scientific stuff, and comes back some scientific stuff. Comes back a little early. He won't even put his foot in the ground to plant, Ryan.
That's
like
crazy.
he's literally throwing forward, like falling
Yeah.
forward, so that he doesn't have to plant hard. Like that's not sustainable.
It's over.
Like, it got to the end of the game, I'm not going to lie. Just as a person, I was like, all right, like, this is starting to get to a point where one more of these hits. Like,
It might be over.
remember the interception and they end up getting the ball back? He was about to call it. He's in the blue tape.
He went and grabbed his helmet, put it back on, and went out there. It was like, okay, I guess we got the ball back.
I appreciate the Warrior spirit, Aaron, but man, you 41. I got to look out for my fellow 41-year-old. You know?
Right?
Hey, look, I love the guy.
Yeah.
I do.
don't know
And I
why.
wanted it to work.
Pack.
The NFL, you're going to watch the Jets, guys, like 6 more times on national television.
Yep.
Yuck.
You better hope it starts to work.
They may
Otherwise, you're going to get a bunch of dud games.
After
No
this
doubt.
season, they won't get another Monday Night Football game for 10 years.
No doubt.